Samuel Wolf. I'm one of Meantime's audio editors. And yeah, so you want to know about Meantime's recording process, okay? So, lockdown, coronavirus, it's all been a very difficult and challenging year for us. There's been a lot of having to sort of produce content at home, which, you know, for someone like me with a degree in audio engineering, is fine. You know, I know how to operate microphones and things from home, but we don't necessarily have that level of expertise across the course. So when we do our chorus recordings, I get everything from people who have sort of bought a microphone and an interface and headphones and sort of doing their own amateur recordings, to people who are recording voice memos on their phones, because that's all they know how to do. And my job is to put all that together and make it sound like we were all singing in the same room, which is a challenge, certainly. So for those that were willing to learn, I told them recommended equipment to buy, how to set up at home, how to get the best out of your recordings and things. And the advice almost always boiled down to sing well, because there's so much you can do post-processing to fix, you know, timing and tuning and balance and things like that. But ultimately, the sort of heart and soul of the track actually comes from the emotion of the person singing it or the people singing it. And a cappella is a wonderful art form because there's, I feel, no other kind of music where you can have that level of emotional control over your sound, so hands-on to begin with. And it's great when you get a whole bunch of people in a room together and they're all sharing that kind of sort of emotional vibe, and emoting in the same way. It creates these sort of beautiful performances that we see on the competition stage every year and all around the world. But separated out in lockdown, that's a lot more difficult because you don't have the energy of other people to feed off of, which, yeah, that's a challenge, you know? There's only so much you can get from Zoom and things like Jamulus and stuff. There really is no real replacement for being in the same room as someone and making music, making a sound together with someone else. So when people ask me to do their audio editing, I think people have this impression that I just sort of like hit this button and magically everything's in time and in tune, and I wish it was that simple. No, it's a good audio editor can put everything in time and in tune and balance it nicely, send it back to you and make it sound good. A great audio editor knows that tuning is contextual and that equal temperament versus just intonation. We lean towards just intonation when we sing together in groups, but how we just intonate is also context dependent and depends on the arrangement and the people, and how much that actually matters when you have a chorus of 50 compared to a chorus of 4. The best audio editors will go so far as to know that at the start of performance, when an ensemble looks at each other and breathes together, they know they've got to put that breath in there, that sound, before it comes in, so that the listener is sort of breathing with them as well, and knows not to pull out too much of the sort of natural sound and performance that people are giving in the first place. So yeah, making it sound correct is half the battle. Making it sound real is the rest of it, certainly. One of my favorite things about working with Meantime is that it is a chorus of people that are always willing to push the boundary, to learn more, to do better, to constantly review what they've done before and try and do it better next time. And I don't know any other choirs or choruses that have pushed themselves so hard to put out so much content in the last year under the pandemic. I'm honestly astonished, amazed, impressed, and proud of the entire chorus. There's not a voice in there that I haven't seen improve and grow over the last year just for trying and constantly seeking feedback and criticism. And that, I think that level of sort of individual self-evaluation I mean, it's nothing to be sniffed at. I'm so grateful to be part of such a driven chorus. Um, and they let me sing too.
Impossible year, good times of this impossible year, just a beachfront.
If I had any advice for new choruses or choruses that haven't done much recording or things like that, it would be if you're going to involve a professional, get them in right from the word go before you even start learning your arrangement. There are things you can do to arrangements to make it easier in the editing and recording process later, including how you produce your teach tracks. To any quartets out there, yeah, these are difficult times. Thankfully, we're coming out of the sort of difficult times. I'm recording this interview just as the lockdowns are starting to sort of alleviate. So for quartets, it's not too bad. You can actually rehearse in person, but don't underestimate the value of rehearsing in person and vibing off of each other, because that really makes the biggest difference in the end. You can always tell when you're listening to a quartet that don't really know each other compared to a quartet that really, really love each other and really, really have that sort of connection and chemistry. Yeah, and above everything else, never think that your voice is just going to get lost in a big mix. Every big mix comprises of individual voices. You know, the sound cannot exist without every single one of those individual voices. And for something to sound like your chorus, you need as many of you as possible, if not all of you, to all be singing on that track. Because that's the only way you're going to get the sound of your chorus on a recorded track, isolated and separated the way we are. So if you're ever thinking, no, I'm not good enough, I'm just going to pull the quality of the track down, it's you know, someone else will do it. Nope, none of that. Do it. Just go in there, record your part as best you can, give it to the edit, you know, give your greatest performance and your best musicianship, and when you give it to the editor, if the editor's worth their salt, it'll be in there, you know. I personally don't, if someone sends me audio that I can't use, I don't take it out. I contact them, I either ask them to redo it or I find a way to make it work. Because ultimately, if people are putting in the effort to record, I need to put in the effort to make sure that they're in that final track. And like I say, it really does make a difference at the end. The more Meantime we've done this, the more Meantime as we've got on the tracks, and the more and more it sounds like Meantime at the end of it. And I'm so happy that the chorus has sort of found its sound during lockdown of all times. And yeah, it's been an impossible year, but it's been a good one for Meantime, I think.